All right, buddy. We're back. Woo! We just watched some shit.
That was awesome.
Aaron's back in the crypt.
What up?
Aaron and I are in the crypt tonight. And
Back in the place.
we just watched a documentary together. Yeah, I love music documentaries so much. And we just watched one that I found out about. Whoa, sorry. Some noise just happened in our headphones.
Should have thought Billie Jean was going to start playing.
Right.
Sounds like never mind. Anyway.
Shit, that was freaky. No. Like, fuck. No. Yeah. So one of two documentaries that I have been made aware of through the Let There Be Talk Dean Delray podcast. This is one of them.
If you haven't heard that,
and you're into music,
yeah. Oh, dude. Anybody you think of, man.
You need to get on that shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Huge, immense shout out to Dean Delray and Let There Be Talk. He's awesome. Awesome. But we one of the documentaries that he had I think the filmmaker or someone in it on the documentary is called The Rainbow. All right. It's going to be hard for you to search that because there are a lot of things called The Rainbow. This is about the Rainbow Bar and Grill in Los Angeles, California. And
I keep thinking Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It just makes way more sense for something like that to be there. But anyway.
Kinda. Yeah. Kinda, honestly.
Maybe not. I don't know.
But, well, yeah, maybe not. But no, so it's a documentary about the Rainbow and like what it is, what happened there, the people that run it and have owned it, the family, and the impact it had on the music scene in the Sunset Strip in the pre-1980s. On it's like, yeah, it had its biggest impact there, but they even going back to the 60s and 70s, it was, like you said, he had the Temptations, the Motown, anybody from Motown, Stevie Wonder, all these Jackson 5, you know what I mean, like all of them as well, when they were up and coming still back then. So that's 60s, 70s, stuff like that. So it was doing stuff then. But anyway, so yeah, there's a little intro. We just watched this documentary about the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and that's what this episode is going to be about. We literally watched it. It ended 10 minutes ago, and then we turned on the mics. So let's get this. First of all, let's kick this off with a fucking tribute to a god. Cheers. We're going to take this shot to Lemmy Kilmister.
Yes.
Here's to you, Lemmy. We fucking miss you. Old number 27's tasting good tonight.
Number 7.
Oh, number 7, yeah.
No, 27.
No, it's because there's a highway here in Lansing that's Old 27.
Oh.
And there's a sign ripping off the Jack Daniels sign that says Old 27 on it. It looks the exact same, so I fuck it up sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I think now that you say that, I think I fucked it up on the last episode. God.
It's all good.
Damn it. But anyway.
I messaged you about a fuck up I made too, so it's all good about the last one.
And you want to know what's kind of funny too is I think on episode 500 of the Justice Show, I think he might have made a slight mistake too because he said 501 was gonna be Howard Jones, but it was Dean Delray.
Oh, boy.
So I was like, hey, everybody fucks up on.
We're all human.
We're all good. It's all good. That's part of the magic.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the magic. So yeah, documentary, The Rainbow, Lemmy.
It was weird because it talked about that, but it also talked about the whiskey go-go.
Well, I think they were both owned by them at a certain point. I don't know.
Yeah.
But because they didn't really talk about the history of. They didn't go into the history of the whiskey the same way.
Yeah.
But I've so for me, my knowledge prior to this documentary of the Rainbow Room, the Whiskey A Go-Go and the Sunset Strip, is, put it this way, my perception of it is the Girls, Girls, Girls video by Motley Crue, where they're rolling down the Sunset Strip on motorcycles. Like that imagery is what's in my head whenever I think of it usually.
Yeah.
And yeah, just fucking I've of course heard of these bars. I knew they were on the Strip. I knew they were a part of the 80s scene and all that stuff. I didn't know how much and how of a part of it they were. I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand that it was the hub. That it was the beating fucking heart and a place where things happened that would go on to affect pop culture all over the world.
Yeah.
It would change things, and yeah. Like, this place was essentially a fucking mecca for
just chaos.
I mean,
a lot of times.
honestly, outside of yeah, but so I guess I guess not outside of anything. I guess pretty much for every fucking no, that's not even true. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. It was the mecca for pretty much every great band from that time period. Now, obviously, some exceptions. Like, did Iron Maiden ever play there? I don't know. Priest did.
Yeah.
So maybe. Ozzy sure as fuck did.
Yeah. Deep Purple.
Yeah, the documentary featured fucking Lemmy, Ozzy, Matt Sorum, yeah, from Guns N' Roses.
Nope.
Slash. Fucking one of the guys from the Monkees, the fucking Chicago. Yeah. Oh my God, how did I just fucking forget her name? Lead singer of the Runaways. Jesus.
Ford?
Yes, Lita Ford. Thank you. Fucking Christ.
I wasn't sure, so I didn't say it right away. But
yeah. Yeah, you know, this documentary features everyone. And
that was what was crazy to me about it, because I pretty much only knew about it from the Lemmy documentary.
Yeah,
and from just hearing about that
have
stuff.
Yeah, it did have. That's where it was. Yeah. He did, because they showed him in there and stuff playing the machine. But yeah,
it's kind of cool.
That's kind of true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. If that's where it started too. Like, that's where the movie started. It was like
literally.
Yeah, it was
with Lemmy.
Like a year after. Like, talking about putting up the statue of him and stuff, which is badass.
Yeah, it starts with the statue unveiling ceremony of the statue of Lemmy at the Rainbow, and then it cuts to the next scene a year. That was 2017. Cuts to the next scene in 2016.
It's like 35 to 44.
We're back.
All right.
Sorry about that, everybody. Hold on. I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna stop this.
All right.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone. The fucking computer froze and we didn't know what happened. But yeah, so anyway, it literally cuts to the next scene, and it's the year prior, 2016. He's sitting at the machine, at the VL machine, and that's where the documentary starts. That's the intro. And then it kind of moves into the hold on, let me see. I just watched it, and I'm so shitty at remembering names, dude. Hold on one second. Yeah, the fucking so it kind of cuts to like the family that has owned it this whole time. Here we go. It's
yeah, definitely worth the shout out.
Yeah, I just can't fucking. It starts with an M. There we go. Maglieri. Mario Maglieri was the founder. I said, well, the restaurant was founded in 1972 by Elmer Valentine and Lou Adler and Mario Maglieri and others. And it opened April 16th, 1972 with a party for Elton John.
Which is wild.
And yeah, like they even talked about, it says right here, John Belushi ate his last meal at table number 16.
Damn.
Wow. Fucking, but yeah, Marilyn Monroe. The documentary had Ron Jeremy in it. Fucking Sam Kinison used to hang out there. Like, yeah, it was the spot for rock and roll. It's where rock and roll and heavy metal and these things went. It was their home. It's like. And Mario Maglieri, the owner, was like this amazing guy. like this fucking just this tough motherfucker from Chicago, and just hard as nails. Told Charlie Manson.
You would kick the shit out of him.
Told Charlie Manson to his face.
Yeah.
He walks in. I guess there was a guy in the bar late one night after closing, wouldn't leave. So one of the workers called in Mario, Mr. Magliari, to. He's like, all right, I'll come down. See what's going on. It was fucking Charlie Manson, and Mario comes in. He's like, fucking, you gotta go. It's past close. Like, do you know who I am? I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm Jesus. Well, I'm God, and I'm gonna kick your fucking ass if you don't get out of the bar.
Whoa! That's respect. Like,
dude, instantaneous.
Yeah.
Like, you just told Charlie Manson that you would fucking kick his ass. If you're Jesus, I'm God.
Dude, that's hard, dude.
If
it's hard
anyone
as fuck.
ever tells me they're Jesus again, that's the line, dude. Like, that's the fuck. Then I'm God.
Yeah.
That's, oh my, that should be, him saying that should be in the intro of a metal song.
Oh, dude,
like,
yeah.
That is unbelievable. But he was this amazing guy who genuinely had love for the scene.
Yeah.
Genuinely had love for the musicians and his patrons and the people that would come and play at the Rainbow. How many people did we just watch who today are worth anywhere from $20 to $250 million? How many of those people did we just watch sit there and say, when I literally had nothing, he would give me a bowl of soup. He would give me a loaf of bread. He'd give me a burger. He'd give me a beer, whatever I needed. Like, he was, pay me later.
Yeah.
He was I didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
He was that guy. That's fucking Chicago. Midwestern.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit we do here. You know what I'm saying? So when we see it anywhere, when we even here, honestly, because it's becoming much more rare. But I mean, that's the fucking dude. I remember this one guy I had. I remember this one guy I had in the shop when I was working the shop. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was in a real tight spot and fucking just needed something. Didn't have the money on him. Said he'd come back and pay me later. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. All right, like I have spent a lot of time studying nonverbal communication, facial expressions, and how to tell if someone's lying to you. It's extremely difficult to do if someone's lying to you. If you've never met the person, they just start lying to you out the gate.
Yeah.
Because then you don't know what they look like if they're not lying. So I didn't know what this guy looked like when he wasn't lying, but he looked real genuine to me. And I swear to fucking God, not only did he come back later that day to pay me, I gained a regular customer in that moment. And every time he came back in, he would thank me again for doing that for him. Like, never forgot it. So, and that's a micro, shitty little tiny nothing example of just a nice thing I did for a guy one day. This guy does that for people that go on to be the greatest musicians, some of the greatest musicians in the history of mankind. Gene Simmons is in the documentary featured heavily. Yeah. But you know what's weird is it never showed that Kiss played there. It never showed Kiss on stage, I don't think.
Yeah, I know they show pictures of them, at least on the stage, but I don't
did
think
they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But who else did we see? Okay, well, no. All right, let's. We don't have like a blueprint. I don't know where I want to start. That's why I'm struggling right now.
I'll say like the thing. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't know. So, since we're talking about it, it's so fresh. Like the thing that stuck out to me is like, at one, and I said it to you once it was all kind of wrapped up and stuff. Like I don't remember, other than like lines outside of venues, I don't remember a time where there was like people in the streets like lined up for shows and like excited to see like bands and like actual, like artists and live music and stuff. Like, I I mean, there's definitely excitement, but I feel like it's different now.
It showed in the documentary because when you said that, what it was showing in the documentary was a time where Van Halen announced that they were going to play. I think the Whiskey.
Yeah.
And like 50,000 people showed up in the streets.
Yeah. Like
and then they announced that the tickets were going to be sold like 2 blocks away down at Tower Records. And then something got messed up, and then they ended up being sold back at the Whiskey. So people were like running back and forth, and the 500 tickets sold out in like 4 seconds flat.
Oh.
And like SWAT team and police came in to make sure there wasn't a riot and all this shit.
Yeah, that could be.
You don't see that.
Yeah.
You're right. No, you're right. I think one of the key factors there is that maybe the reason so many people were down there is because they didn't have the ability to not be there and get a ticket like we do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We don't have to go to a box office anymore. However, you are right though, because think about it though, because at that point in time, like Van Halen was big, but they weren't the Van Halen we know today. They weren't Van Halen yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were still becoming that. So, but you could look at that today. Like if there's a band, let's say there's a band coming up here in Lansing, okay? Both, the only fucking 2, and maybe there's a third one now, we'll see, venues that they could play. Yeah, you can get the tickets online. But it's like way cheaper to just drive down there and get them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that sort of thing, that sort of reaction is still feasible. Or all a venue has to do is say box office only. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And boom, like you may get something like that. But okay, I'm just trying to create the situation to where something like that could happen again. Here's what you're talking about, though, is the fucking people, the feeling, the scene, the existence of a scene.
Yeah.
Like the love of the music. You know? It's just fucking...
It's like it exists still today, but I feel like it's really different now. And I feel like it's so... And maybe I don't know. I don't know how accurate it is, but maybe there's so much like gatekeeping and so much like negativity towards like branching outside of like other music that everybody's so like boxed in, I guess. Like they're I mean I don't know. Maybe that's not it, but
I think it's sort of the opposite. I get what you're getting at.
Yeah.
It's weird. They're boxed in, but in a weird way, because they're not. Because now there are so few. Now I would say there are fewer scenes. Okay, back then you could look at someone and see that, oh, that's a metalhead. Oh, that's someone who likes pop. Oh, that's someone who likes country. Now, everybody likes all those things except heavy metal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now it's almost like it's not. People who just listen, they have access. They have access to everything immediately that's ever existed. So they listen to everything.
Yeah.
And it's that's cool, like, but it's also like I like other genres of music besides metal. Don't get me wrong. Like nobody just likes metal. Let's start there. Like, that's not a real thing. I've never met that guy ever.
Yeah.
That everybody likes a little bit of something else. But metal music still is the one, heavy music, rock is still the one that it's undeniably the most passionate and loyal following. That's what it has. Because we are still the ones walking around in the fucking t-shirts. You can look at us and know what we like. Know at least the kind of music that we listen to. You might think it's if you're just a casual radio listener, you might think it's only, Godsmack and Disturbed, and you would be violently incorrect. But that's it's that. But my point is that even to the casual listener who doesn't know what they're talking about, they still associate the way we look with the heaviest things that they hear. That they hear, and those might be the heaviest things that they ever hear, on the radio or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and I think, kind of looking back at it and stuff, and really, really taking a look at just how different both scenes were. Whether you're talking about heavier music or whether you're talking about just straight rock music, like there's.
I would say those two things are the same, but go on.
Yeah. True. Yeah. For context, like for kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But there's no denying that over the last, and what really got me thinking about it was the last, because the first half of the documentary is really like history based.
Yes.
It's really like, stories and cool shit that happened there. But, once they get towards the end of the movie, it's very like somber, like where it went to, and that was the thing that probably struck me the most. And I think the thing that I took from it was, like, in the last 10 years, we've lost a lot of people. Like, we lost a lot of legends, a lot of people, like a lot of, like the era of the rock star, is gone basically. Like it doesn't exist anymore.
The end of the documentary, I didn't realize that I remember it. I just don't know. I just want to make sure I pronounce it right for the record. I do remember it. Mario Maglieri. I just got to make sure I get that right. Maglieri. He's in the whole documentary.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that he had passed, and it shows that by the end. I obviously did know that Lemmy. They pretty much showed that he had passed in the first scene. Yeah. And then it shows all of the Tom Petty, David Bowie, all these legends that we've recently lost that had played at the Rainbow. And that Mario Maglieri maybe even gave a bowl of, definitely gave a bowl of soup or a pizza to when they had nothing else.
Yeah.
When they were in Los Angeles, hundreds of miles away from their families, they had no structure at all. They were just maniac musicians, creative geniuses that had no structure. And this guy comes along and at least gives them the son. So this is a family business. Okay, it had Mario, it had his son, and it had his son, who is currently running it today. And
which is awesome.
Awesome.
By the way.
Fucking awesome. We'll get to him.
Yeah.
Because he's our guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
They're all our guys, but he's our guy today. Fucking. It's his family business, and it's a business. The son made the point. We are a business we're a bar. We sell alcohol for a living. Mario Maglieri would go up to people like Slash or who else did he say? I think he said like Ozzy or something. I don't know. Some people.
Yeah.
If he felt like they were getting a little too far off the handle.
Oh, it was the guy from Velvet Revolver.
Yeah, and Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Matt Sorum, the drummer. Yeah,
that's right.
He was like, he pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, you need to slow it down a bit," like, And it was like he even described him as a fatherly figure, giving you that fatherly talk.
There's not many like that anymore.
Not many like that ever.
Yeah, that's yeah.
This guy was so rare and so genuine. And just genuinely cared and genuinely loved the music. And that's what it takes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's being lost, I feel, is the genuine. Just be fucking genuine. Love what you love and then love it with all you got. Like, and that's what we do. That's what I love about metal. Like, that's this thing that even though these as badly as I wish that I had been able at one point in my life to have been a part of a scene like that, surrounding a band or a handful of bands, in a city that was doing something special and unique in a moment. Like, I would give almost anything to be able to go back in time and be a part of something like that, because it doesn't happen. Even though I think it still could. I think it's possible. I don't think it's impossible. In fact, I think it's arguably, in a lot of ways, more possible now than ever with the mass communication, because that's the one thing they didn't have. But yet they were still able to pull it together and do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we have that now. So why can't I, so as much as I wish that I could have been a part of something like that, I kind of forgot where I was going with this, but it's just fucking.
Well,
it was so special.
Yeah.
And this guy was such a special guy in it, and he did it right. The genuineness. That's where I was going. That's what is being lost. It's just being a genuine human being and actually caring about others and not worrying about the bottom dollar. You're not worrying about that.
Yeah.
You're worrying about because you got other things to worry about. This guy was a family guy. He brought his children up in this bar.
Yeah.
His kids said, as children, we didn't go to bed till 2 a.m. That's just what it was. This is the family business. And the guy, Mario, was like, hey, I want my family around. What do you got if you don't got family?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, that's the fucking... He was something very special. And I'm sad I didn't know about him while he was alive. But I'm very happy that this documentary exists. And then I listened to the Dean Del Rey podcast, and I got to learn about him.
Yeah.
Because he is... Oh, man. He is like someone to look up to. Someone to aspire to be like.
Yeah.
Just like the fucking genius musicians that we look up to. Like, he's just like that. He's one of those guys. He is right up there with all of them because he's the guy that made them possible.
Yeah.
Like, he's the guy, especially at that point in time when it's play live or die. There's nothing else. There's no other options. You can't put a song up online. No.
Yeah.
You play live or die.
Yeah.
So, in that world, he created an environment for these people. And I didn't know, of course now, today, we've all heard of the band, the Hollywood Vampires. Come on. I'm going to do my trick. God damn it.
Not gonna happen like that. I'll say, like, you know, it's definitely changed as far as, like, you know, like promotion and, like, you know, venue promoters and you know, people that put on shows and stuff. Like, to me, honestly, I've never had a negative experience, like, personally, but I know that with like booking agents and with, like, you know, people at shows and, like, with, you know, with, like, bar owners and stuff like that. Like, everyone that I've ever met has been chill. Like, it's been cool. And
nice.
Especially, like, you know, and kind of lucky to say that because
you are.
Yeah. And maybe it's because we haven't, you know, well, you know, I don't know.
You've played a lot of venues.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, I guess to get back on point, like, you know, there's I know for every one, like, decent one, there's like 10 like scummy kind of, you know, like ones that don't really care, they're just in it for the money and stuff. And that's kind of what you're saying. Like, you know, back then it was you know, you look for these places and you just kind of, you know, you're a road dog basically.
Yes.
Like, you play shows for forever. You know, you tour on this one record and stuff, and then you go back and record, and, you know, maybe if you're lucky, you'll get, like, you know, a bigger recording contract, and then that'll kind of set you up there, you know, with everybody else and stuff. But you know, it was a really different scene, and now, like, there's so much of, you know, like, it's not only is it, I guess from a band perspective and from, like, an artist perspective, like, it seems like there's a lot more people that are just trying to get your money and just trying to get your product rather than just a genuine love for what you're doing and just being like, hey, you know, like, your album is fucking sick. Like, I enjoy it. I want you guys to play here and stuff.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And it's just like, it kind of bums me out watching that, but it also is like, you know, there's got to be that. And for one, I guess to kind of backtrack, like, the fact that at the end of the documentary they were talking about, you know, or didn't really talk about it, but they listed a bunch of the ones that are, like, you know, not here anymore, basically, like venues and stuff. Yeah. And
what's real quick side note, so many of my favorite episodes of podcasts are with like famous musicians or people that went to shows, like Joey Coco Diaz or D. Del Rey talking about the shows they went to when they, or Jim Florentine when they talking about the shows they went to when they were younger. Some of those venues are the ones they went to.
Yeah.
The Palladium.
Yeah, man.
But go on.
I was gonna say, like, you know, it just
showed
seems,
how they're not there anymore.
yeah. And
They say this Palladium, the Palladium, which hosted, you know, I'm just pulling it out of my ass. Motley Crue, Iron Maiden, Twisted Sister, fucking everyone you've ever fucking heard of is now a shopping mall.
Yeah, CBGBs, man.
That one,
like that was.
I don't remember that had closed. I didn't remember that had closed.
That was a few years ago, I think. That was recent.
When you said that, it popped in my head. Yeah, I knew. I was like, oh my god, CBGBs.
And I think
I never got to go there.
Yeah, I think the House of Blues too. One of the original House of Blues. It was a few years ago, I think, like 5 years ago, maybe.
The original? There's still one in Chicago. I know that. I mean, there fucking better be.
Yeah. I could be wrong about that. It seems like I heard because there's a few different House of Blues.
A lot of the Hard Rock's
closed. That might be it, honestly, instead of the House of Blues. But even still, yeah.
I have zero issue saying that every Hard Rock cafe you've ever been to is based on the Rainbow.
Oh yeah. They even said that.
They literally said it in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, this place has that shit on the walls, but it was literally given to them.
Yeah.
Like, none of it was purchased.
Yeah.
We're talking about
broken guitars and like.
We're talking about guitars,
yeah.
bro. We're talking about fucking drums.
Yeah.
We're talking about fucking shit that should be in a goddamn museum.
Yeah.
Like, it should no.
Well, I mean,
it should be in a museum, but it's a museum that's accessible from the surface of the earth, but it's actually like 10,000 floors below sea level in a bunker, protected, and nothing short of a Earth getting hit and broken apart by an Earth-sized asteroid or the sun enveloping the Earth once it gets big enough. Those are the only things that can possibly destroy that. And even then, those two things, this vault might still just be floating in space.
You never know. Yeah.
That's where these items should be.
Yeah. I mean...
Gold records. They have gold records on the wall. Like, that were given to them.
Yeah. Slash's guitar, he threw off a...
In the Don't Cry video. Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah, that was awesome.
I also didn't know that one of my favorite Guns videos. You want this?
All right.
One of my favorite Guns videos, the one
Welcome to the Jungle.
No.
Sweet Child of Mine.
Nope. No. Not. It's off of Use Your Illusion.
I don't know, man.
Everybody knows it. It's one of the top 3 most famous Guns N' Roses songs of all time because of this video and the movie that it was in.
You want to pause it real quick?
Yeah, sure. We can do a quick pause. It was the "You Could Be Mine" video, which was featured in the film Terminator 2.
Oh yeah,
which
that's right.
Blew them up, and the video had Terminator in it, Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. I did not know that was filmed at the Rainbow.
Yeah,
I didn't know that, and
that's awesome.
And they Slash even said in the documentary, it was like because there's finally a scene because it's mostly Terminator walking around the crowd and doing all this stuff, but while Guns is on the stage. But there's this scene at the end where Guns comes out of the back of the bar and they come face to face with the Terminator, and you see through the Terminator's eyes, like the computer, like this is Slash, this is Dizzy, this is fucking, and then it goes to Axel, and it says waste of ammo.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Slash goes, but at that point in filming the music video, we had actually been in the Rainbow, like drinking for like 5 hours. So like when we came out, we were actually like kind of fucking drunk and shit. And if you watch it, like they literally showed it right in the documentary, and you see Slash like fucking straight up like fucking Jack Sparrow that shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking. It was. Oh man, I was like, so it's authentic because that was the scene in the video. Was this drunk party band coming out after a show all fucked up, and that's what actually fucking was there. So, damn, dude.
Well,
history. They filmed They showed that Guns had filmed a lot of videos there.
Yeah. Everybody.
And they even said the guy was like, they never fucking. There was no contracts. They didn't ask. They were like, you want to film a video? Yeah, fucking We love you
Do
guys.
it.
Of course,
Yeah.
come film a video here. You kidding me?
Yeah.
They didn't have to pay anything. No contracts. No nothing.
Mm.
Because we love you guys. Yeah, come film a video here. That's
Yeah. As far as I know, you don't really get that much anymore. It's all money and.
from what I've come to know, and I've never been there, I've never lived there. I've only heard from people that have lived there
Same.
and been in this business for 20 plus years about Los Angeles and Hollywood and these places. That is something you simply do not find there.
Yeah.
That is something nobody is trying to help you. Everyone is trying to fuck you.
Yeah.
It is cutthroat.
Mm.
That is how people that live there have described it. So.
Oh, and I wonder, and I've just started to think about this. Like, I wonder if the difference between that kind of scene and that kind of style that was happening around that era and what's happening now, like, I wonder if it's because, you have so many bands coming out of these different states that have no business being like, states that metal bands come out of. I guess for example, like, Slipknot, let's say, like Iowa, like, you wouldn't really expect that kind of, style and that kind of sound to come out of there, right?
Correct.
I wonder if the way that it's all kind of run and the way that it's all kind of moved to, I wonder if that's, a matter of, bands having a different sort of mentality and a different sort of work ethic rather than just the party bands, rather than just the bands that are like trying to get that rock star mentality, and trying to get that, keep that kind of thing going and stuff. Because I do believe that there are some bands that are still trying to do that, trying to keep that authenticity of, of that, like, the 80s sound, like that true, like, rock sound and stuff. But I also wonder if, the scene changed because people got not only smarter about doing things kind of DIY, but also, like, not really so much having that mentality of, like, we're just a rock band. Let's just play you know what I mean?
Well, like they said in the documentary, that scene died because of grunge.
Well, yeah. There's a mix of other things.
Grunge
yeah.
is the thorn in my side. Grunge killed everything that makes me happy in the world and brought us the dirty 90s. That were just, when I think of it, I grew up in the 90s, motherfuckers. All right?
Yeah.
I'm
94, but I was still in it.
I
don't know if that, like, what the cutoff is necessarily, but
I was in every second of the 90s and
you
saw it
remember
all.
more than I do. Yeah.
And when I look back on it, it's in this, like, gray tint.
Yeah.
Just gloomy. Just nothing. It was the time where everything started to, like, get taken so serious and just fucking,
Yeah.
like, it was just.
Well, I feel like
it was definitely a turning point from. It's almost like the 80s, and that scene were like the last gasp of, like, the hippies in a weird way, like the freedom and just being in the genuine love and passion for what you're doing in the music. Not saying that doesn't happen now, but that it's being different. A thing, you know what I mean? Yeah, that being the way it was back then. And then, then just the 90s just fucking threw an axe in its back.
Kind of.
And grunge. Let's wear sweaters and be depressed.
Well, to me, like, we I don't feel like we'd be. You done? You good?
Yeah.
No, I agree to a point. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of grunge music. I've since grown to appreciate it for what it is. Mostly the staple bands. Like, mostly, you know what I mean? Like, because, well, think about it.
I can't do it, Captain. I can't do it.
I mean, like, it's.
Go on.
I imagine, I mean, I'm sure it was a shift. I'm sure, like, nobody really knew what was going on. It was like, it was a mystery. As far as, like.
I just don't, like, what?
But they, like, see, and the thing I think is different is, like, they didn't, bands like, okay, well, let's say, like, Nirvana and, like, bigger bands and stuff like that didn't necessarily get into and start writing music to be, like, rock stars. You know what I mean?
No. It just I actually used to say this on a regular basis, and this is a really weird thought I just had. It was like it just clicked in my head, and I was like, oh yeah, I used to know, like think that all the time. Why don't and then I realized I haven't thought this in like a long, long time. It was because during the 80s, heavy metal became the biggest music in the world, which means
Right.
what? Okay, just I genuinely don't know, but just throw me something. What's the biggest music in the world right now? Is it like rap or is it like techno? I don't know. Like electronic. I don't even know if they fucking call it techno anymore. Electronic music.
I feel like
It's fucking techno. Shut the fuck up.
I feel like it's a mix of like kind of like what you're saying, like electronic music and like
Let's just
like
say,
rap
okay,
music.
at the end of the day, pop music is literally just shortened popular music. That's literally what that means,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So whatever the most popular music is today, okay?
What we know is top 40.
Yeah. All those people that are into that were into metal in the 80s. So basically, what I'm saying is a lot of those people are a little bit, maybe not a little bit, fair weather. They go with the tide. And in the 80s, the tide was with heavy metal. And then the tide moved to grunge. So all those people that were wearing leather and dressing like Crew or Maiden or this or that, like we are today, fucking then started dressing like Cobain and Vedder. You know, started wearing the flannel and the sweatshirts and the ripped jeans and the money, and I'm all sad.
Why are you so bitter about grunge, man?
Because I saw an interview once where Kurt Cobain literally said, I created the band Nirvana because of how much I hate heavy metal. And he's referring to in the grunge movement in Seattle and I've seen this in other documentaries from other grunge people and all these people, like in Sam Dunn's documentary where he went into grunge, Banger TV, shout out. We love you motherfuckers, and your top decade album list was incredible. They got us, it may not agree with everything, but it got us talking, which is good.
Yeah.
Makes it incredible. They've all said that it was a movement more against the hair metal, because they looked at it as bro metal. It's all just drugs and boobies and and I get that. I get that.
There's no denying it is. Yeah.
I get that. But at the same time that was going on, we had Guns. We had fucking Alice Cooper. We had Ozzy. We had all these other things happening as well. You know what I mean? It wasn't just hair metal was the thing on MTV. Let's be real. That's what it comes down to. That was the thing on MTV and the radio. Was the fucking Crew and Poison.
Yeah.
Who I love.
Yeah.
But that's you know what I mean? So that's what they were. Heavy metal was rebelling against what came before it. Grunge was rebelling against heavy metal. And it didn't kill it, because nothing ever will, as Jack Black has told us. And grunge tried to kill the metal, but metal won.
Like, you gotta, like, to me, I don't look at it like that. Maybe
of course we don't anymore.
That's true.
It's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
That sort of thing isn't a thing anymore. That doesn't exist anymore, because, like I said earlier, everybody listens to everything now.
Right.
So
yeah,
that sort of the genre wars are dead.
Yeah.
That does not happen anymore. You can fucking you can be Post Malone and be a metalhead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because he fucking apparently listens to a fuck ton of metal.
He was in a metal band too.
Was he?
Yeah. I don't remember what the name of it was, but yeah.
And he's in the fucking Ozzy Osbourne documentary coming out.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
He's in it. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. I've never heard any of his music. And his face looks weird. But I think he knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if he does or not.
There was...
Anyway.
And there was this fucking ad on YouTube that came up before a video I was watching last night, and it was like some fucking stupid ass beer commercial with him in it. But but it was kind of fucking funny.
Yeah.
So I kept watching it. I was watching an ad that you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know me.
Yeah.
That never happens.
Yeah.
Ever. So, and I ended up watching this ad, and it like legit made me laugh. Like, he was funny. Like, he was actually funny in
Yeah.
it. I was like, all right. You do a song with Ozzy, you talk about you actually like metal music, you do a funny ad. Maybe I'm gonna start looking at. Maybe I'm gonna start keeping an eye on you. You know what I mean? You have crossed into my, what is it? The zeitgeist, the ether, enough. You've done enough to where that stuff has intersected with the things I'm viewing, to where
Yeah.
you've piqued my interest.
It's like, all right. Yeah.
Yeah. So props. I don't know why I just started talking about
Post Malone.
Post Malone. What the fuck?
There was a point you were making about, different artists like kind of like crossing over in a sense.
Everybody likes
like,
everything.
Yeah, everybody likes
you can
everything.
be you can be Post Malone and listen to heavy metal. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think it's just a matter of, not only is like technology made everything so accessible and so easy to find what you're looking for, but also like, it's way different and way easier to be like, let's say you're on whatever like streaming service, you're on YouTube, let's say. Like how many times have you been on there and started clicking around on stuff and eventually ended up somewhere like on an artist or on a video where you were like, I didn't expect to be here, but I'm glad that I actually watched this, or like I've heard a lot of, it's kind of that sort of thing. Like there's not that like
it's
that disconnect between like finding new things and, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Like I don't know. I just feel like there's more to say about that.
You just hit something on the head, dude. Holy shit. You're right. Because that's the way people are finding music today.
Yeah.
They're putting it on a Pandora or an Alexa or a whatever station. Put it on, I want to hear some Black Sabbath. Put it on Black Sabbath station. And it's going to play 10 different things that it thinks you might like. And you will probably like one or two of them, but you'll like those one or two.
Yeah.
And you'll look into it. And it'll be something you've never heard of before.
Yeah.
That has literally happened to me. That's how people fucking discover music today. It's only happened to me like couple times.
No.
Because I don't really like stream. I don't have a streaming service. I don't do that. I purchase albums.
Yeah.
I purchase the physical copies still. I'm a collector.
I've fallen a bit more into the streaming stuff just because it's a little bit.
It does that
simpler,
though. It
but,
really does. And that's what breaks down the fucking genre wars. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Because all of a sudden you put on the fucking Cannibal Corpse station. And a Children of Bodom song comes on, or a Hatebreed song comes on.
Yeah.
And there was a point in time where if you listen to death metal, and this guy listens to hardcore, you are enemies.
Yeah.
You hate each other.
Yeah. You
You
don't
are
intersect.
not cool.
Yeah.
No, you are not. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's frozen. Nope. And we're back. Sorry, I thought the computer froze again, but we're good.
Yeah.
But now you and I, dressed in the Black Dahlia. Okay, well, I got a Slayer shirt on, so of course. But, like, if I were in a fucking, Children of Bodom shirt, walk into a Hatebreed concert, we're going to see other people with those same shirts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
That's the reality now.
I also kind of feel like the mindset's kind of changed as well. Because I don't feel like anybody, and it sort of kind of comes with that, kind of what you were talking about with nobody really, everybody kind of listens to everything. Like there's not really, I don't really see any of the infighting, I guess.
Exactly.
And like
Not as much.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
between the subgenres.
Yeah.
I mean, there are always going to be those elitists that say this or that sucks.
Well, that's just toxic.
It's just no, because did you not go through that in your life?
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
so
yeah.
did I.
I'm not gonna deny.
And
it.
now those people have internet.
Yeah.
Whereas you and I had I had MySpace during that point in time.
Uh-huh.
So that shit's gone.
Mm.
Good luck finding anything I posted on that bitch. Good fucking luck. So.
Well, to me, I always, I don't know, like it never really mattered to me. Like even, I guess, it mattered when I got older. When I started to figure out like what was cool and like what was the in thing or whatever, like that's when it mattered. But to me, when I first got into it, like I didn't care.
No,
Like it was
yeah,
just
no.
whatever was cool.
Dude,
like I was just looking for stuff that was just sick.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
When I first got into it, I fucking found the Wretched Spawn. Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I also found Open Up and Say Ah by Poison.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? I listen to glam metal and death metal.
Mhm.
Fuck yeah, I do. I listen to all metal, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's where it started. But the fuck yeah, I listen to all metal realization came much later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there was a point in time where I hated new metal and I hated fucking. I hated almost anything that wasn't from the 80s, like, quite frankly. Like, there was that point in time existed.
Which is, by the way, it's absurd to me.
Absolutely.
that you used to think that.
But I had of course I had exceptions like Pantera.
Yeah.
And then I liked 3 Inches of Blood. We discovered 3 Inches of Blood when they were still going. You know, there was a lot. And then we obviously Lamb of God, Children of, and then it all came. But yeah, there was a point in time where I was segmented off. Like there were things I didn't like for very like stupid, ignorant ass reasons. You know what I mean? Just because I was. But I was also
you liked what you liked, and
yeah,
you had a really strong opinion about what you didn't like. But then you start realizing and seeing like similarities and things, and
but the more I think about it, the more silly it is because I was literally the only metalhead in my school. So like, who was I like saying sucked besides just everyone?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, dude,
like,
I was same boat, man.
Yeah,
like
everybody, because I was in the era of when emo was popular, so everybody used to call me emo, and that's what pissed me off, and that's why I didn't like MCR because they were the emo hot topic band, and everybody was like, "You like MCR?" I'm like, "No, bitch, I like Metallica."
The thing about and I could go on for days about them, like MCR.
No, yeah.
But I'm gonna get to that. But
yeah, no, we will get to that on this episode.
That's very important.
Yes.
But to me, like I think like it was around the time when they came around and when bands like them, when I started. I mean, I cringe every single time I use the phrase screamo, but.
Screamo, yep.
But,
that's what everybody said I liked, and I'm like, no, I like fucking Devil Driver. That's not screaming.
Yeah. See, that's important though because that is. And I'm just thinking about this now because that's about the point in time where the lines between the really heavy stuff and the kind of in between kind of started to merge.
Yes.
And I think
yes.
what I liked about MCR so much was they had songs that could have basically been metal songs. Like it was, as far as like the guitars and the music and stuff, like it was heavier stuff, but it was presented in a way that was, that was more about the
accessible.
art. Yeah, it was more accessible, and it was more like, about like it was, I don't know, it just, but basically, yeah, like that's.
And it was very it was very much. Gerard Way is a fucking artist.
Yeah, dude.
Because post MCR, he did fucking comic books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
He's a writer and he's an artist. You know what I mean? Legit hats off to that guy.
Yeah.
Especially since he was on the fucking. Because honestly, once he was on the Kevin Smith podcast with Kevin Smith, I was like, oh. Yeah. And the fucking. Isn't The Boys? Yeah, that's one of his comics. I'm pretty sure the show on Amazon. That's fucking Gerard Way, people.
Yeah.
That's the lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
The Boys on Amazon. That brutal.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I haven't.
Brutal. Superhero show. I'm talking you see guts every episode.
I think let me look that up.
Like it's insane. Yeah, make sure fact check me on that. Just search The Boys comic and see what comes up. Make sure it's Gerard Way. I'm 99% sure that's him.
It is not.
No?
But
what did he do? Then there was something that he did that just got big. A show on Netflix or Amazon or something. I don't know what it was. I know I watched it though and I was like, fuck, this is good. Fuck. Can't remember.
I'm actually kind of mad at myself because I don't know what.
I can't remember, Captain.
But I mean, okay, it's to kind of get back on track.
Yeah.
It was around that point where, when I got into them and I started getting into, that sort of scene and that sort of style. Like if it weren't for bands like them,
Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
That's right. That's
that was
what
the
it is.
one.
Yeah,
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
Go on.
But yeah, it was about the same. When it was when I got into like the Used and bands like that were kind of in this weird space where it was like it was heavy, but it wasn't. Like it was heavy, but it was also like chorusy. There's things about it that you could like, latch onto or whatever, which is cool. Yeah. The hooks, man.
And that's what.
Hooks.
See, that's what fucking.
Yeah.
It's boom right there.
Yeah.
Think that that exact same way. That's why I liked Maiden and Megadeth and Priest as those bands for me. You know what I mean? Like the fucking sex.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Are you kidding me? You can master.
Yeah.
Like oh my god.
I could say the same thing about like I'm Not Okay. And like the like Ghost
Black
of You.
Parade.
Yeah.
Helena.
Yeah. Come on. You like classics, dude.
A place where our paths converge. Though, is of course Green Day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude,
yeah, man.
The time. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. But I think like it's I don't know. I guess it's just I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think about like how and maybe it's maybe it's just kind of looking. It's crazy to me that it took kind of getting into these other bands and like through like the MySpace era because that was really when when
MySpace was big with music.
Yeah, dude. There was a time where
music was huge on there.
Yeah, where I was spending a solid amount of time downloading music off of MySpace when you could still do that.
Yeah.
Like it was a weird way to do it, but yeah.
It's how a lot of people back then found bands.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely not only bands but comedians as it turned out. I've learned like Dane Cook got huge on MySpace.
Yep.
Like
that's where I heard that.
Yeah, like it really was like it really was something special at that point in time. Like it was something crazy. People used it like in a positive, good way. You know what I mean? Like looking back on MySpace, people used it for fucking music and you know what I mean, stuff like that, like comedy. You know what I mean? Like entertainment.
Basically the entire deathcore genre.
Yeah.
Kind of owes itself to maybe somebody's gonna come after me for that.
I don't think you're wrong, bro.
Like to me, like that was where I heard
Suicide
Silence
there,
the first.
Dude, that's where I saw him first too. Like that's fucking and they're arguably one of, if not the, at one point in time, biggest band in that genre.
Yeah.
When Mitch was alive, they were at the top.
Yeah. Them.
No question.
Winds of Plague. There's another I was just thinking of. I don't know, but anyway, like that was at one point how I was finding music, and I guess what kind of brings me around to that is, watching that documentary and thinking about now how people find music. Like nobody really discovers artists by going to shows anymore.
Dahlia was big on MySpace.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they were one of the last kind of on the way out, sort of, but like the later years of MySpace.
But now it's all just through these music streaming services.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. I guess I can't really say that nobody finds new music going to shows because I find new bands all the time going to shows. Well, but I feel like
But we're metalheads, and we go to shows with fucking 4 or 5 openers that we've never heard of to see the headliner.
Yeah.
And we'll discover something there sometimes.
That's true, yeah.
Or we'll go to a local show because our friends are playing, and we'll discover something there.
Yeah. So I think
we are in that environment as much as we can be.
Yeah, I think that just the way that I don't know, it's not only is the era of what we know as rock stars and stuff is gone, pretty much complete like icons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there isn't other than let's with the exception of Corey Taylor, with the exception of. Metallica, with the exception of the household names, I guess. Like there isn't really that in if there is, it's different now. It's not so like badass like Rebellion kind of a deal. It's more of a I don't know.
This is something I was gonna get to. one of the points that Gene Simmons made in that documentary was that we're not making rock stars anymore.
Yeah. And part of that,
you can't. He's like, heavy metal star means nothing. Hip hop star means nothing. Pop star means nothing. Rock star. That's the one.
Yeah.
Everyone else is nothing compared to a rock star. And he's not wrong.
No,
I agree
totally.
with him. I agree with him on that point. I also agree with him that we aren't making Bowies or Ozzies or Petties or Simmonses or fucking,
there's never gonna be another one of any of those. Dio, yeah, Pantera, like
Dimebag,
yeah,
Rhodes,
yeah,
There's never gonna be another. I know I already said it, but he deserves saying it again. There's never gonna be another Ozzy.
Yeah.
There's never gonna be another fucking Lemmy.
Yeah.
Lemmy. Cheers. What are you drinking? Cheers with the glass. Cheers with the glass.
Yeah.
To Lemmy. There's never going to be another Lemmy. There's never going to be another Vince Neil. Bret Michaels.
Just, I don't know.
These don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Who knows? It's.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me, but I feel like I should blame it on the 90s.
Well, I guess to go back to that, because I did have a point about what you were saying about it. What was so before hair metal, or I guess after hair metal, there was thrash metal, right? Kind of.
I mean,
somewhere in there, it was a response to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the reason why I don't like grunge, but yet thrash metal was like, why is that the most popular metal? No, fuck that. We should play something way heavier and way crazier.
Yeah.
Fuck this fucking looking like girls bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go hard. And then that took over.
Yeah.
So I am a little bit of a hypocrite, I guess.
Well,
But at the same time, at least they both waved the flag of metal.
Yeah.
Whereas grunge specifically said we never want to be in that category.
Even the bands you could technically say were the heavier of the grunge bands. Like, to me, and I know
who is it? Who's the actual like pretty good one?
Oh, well, to me it's always been Alice in Chains.
No.
Like, to me it's always
they're
been...
way smaller. They're way smaller, but I'm never gonna remember the name. But I know it. But they are like almost borderline metal. Like there is one that's really famous. Fuck. They were in Michigan recently. Like, well, I don't know how recently, but I know they've toured here. Oh my god, I'm never. I got nothing. I don't remember.
Well, my point.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I was actually trying to figure out who it was, because there's a few
like
that are still going.
I think they had like they had I don't know. They had a crazy video. I remember the video. If you read me some names, I might be. I'd be able. If I hear it, I'll know it. Shit.
Wasn't Nirvana, not
No.
Soundgarden,
No.
not Pearl Jam,
No.
Stone Temple Pilots.
It's not something you would hear on the radio.
I don't know.
All right, go on. Sorry.
But anyway, like, so thrash metal was a response, or no?
Thrash and grunge were a response to glam.
Yeah, right. So now, what are we seeing, really? Is it? I guess going against, because I don't know, like what happened after that was basically death metal, really. Heavier styles.
Pantera.
Yeah, Pantera, and then from them, basically, that kind of opened the floodgates to people still being interested in heavy music and stuff. So I think what it really is and what's causing the changes
Melvins. The Melvins.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of. Sorry.
Oh, that wasn't
Go
the
on.
first band I was thinking of as far as grunge, but that's fair. Yeah. I also don't know too many of their songs. So,
But
yeah.
I saw a documentary. Well, the grunge segment of the Sam Banger TV Sam Dunn
Oh
documentary.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They talk about
They
the
did talk
Melvins,
to them.
and they showed part of one of their videos and played some of their music, and that was borderline like punk, hard rock, metal-ish in there.
Yeah.
Almost more so than grunge.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But go on.
Well, I don't know. It makes me wonder what's going to come of it next in terms of being like there's got to be a term for being like reverse influenced. You know what I mean? Like doing something or writing something that is just totally contradictory to what is popular and what is the big thing. And now I feel like now it's less of a I guess it's just less of a topic. It's less of a thing because it's so widely accepted that you can pretty much do anything with metal and with heavy music that nobody's really going to think twice about it,
Yeah.
And maybe that's, like maybe the mindset's changed about it because it's more just like what is the music doing rather than it's, what is it? Like how do we classify it? Like what is it, And maybe that's the difference. And also